Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. I saw this particular set of writings, articles in your news, and I wanted to talk about it, okay? I think you should know, or you may know, that there's certain people in the world who have no imagination. You cannot put a cake in front of certain people and say, well, imagine there's icing on the cake, and imagine there are 5 candles, and just imagine that someone is there blowing those candles. Some people cannot put icing on a cake that has no icing. They cannot put candles on a cake that has no candles. They have no imagination. Check it out. Check it out. There's some people who don't dream. You cannot be asking someone, well, what did you dream last night? Some people will dream and forget about it, and they know that they've forgotten about the dream. They know they have dreamt something, but they don't remember. There are some people who don't dream, period. Yes, check it out. They don't dream. There are some people who suffer hunger. They went long periods of being hungry. I'm not talking a day or two, months on end, months on end. Like people in Africa, they go for very long periods of not eating, but still, they will get pregnant. And guess what? That hunger gene is realized in their children, and their children live longer. The children to people who suffer hunger, they live longer because it is actually better to consume lesser calories. So there's certain things you should know. Okay, when you see people who are poor and living to be 100 years old, they're living to be 98, you're like, they were poor. It's the hunger gene that they inherited. They inherited a hunger gene, and fasting and having lesser calories, caloric intake, is actually better for the system, your body system. There's certain things you should know. Okay? Everyone who've been through slavery, everyone that came from slavery, that they may have not made, that they have that gene, that DNA in their bloodline, you need to watch your mental health. Everyone, you need to watch your mental health. And if you are on pills, because the genes are expressing in a way that you are out of control, people need to stay away from you. I've said that before. I've said it before. If you know that someone was diagnosed by a doctor, because you know that even the people in the rum shop could diagnose you, people that are diagnosed are on pills, they love diagnosing other people as being sick. They love spreading whatever they think they have or whatever they've been diagnosed as having. They want to pull you into their world and spread it around. Nothing that is good is given away. People like to give away their shit. They give away their shit. They give away their anger. They give away their angst. They give away their bad ways. And it's easily picked up too by their children, grandchildren. So that's why when you see people having to be on pills, they've been diagnosed now by medical professionals, and they're on pills now. They're not just saying, well, take it easy, stay away from stress. It's not like that. It's like they have to be under a regimen of pills to keep them solid in their body. Keep away from them. Keep away from them. So they're talking now about rising youth mental health. And they're talking about drug issues, alarm counselors, mental health stigma under scrutiny. Well, when you have a Prince Harry, right? Remember, you guys love your Prince Harry. Even Meghan, his wife, they had mental issues. She had mental issues. He and he has mental issues. They both have mental issues, and she still gets work and he's still getting work. He's always in the news, you know. Where's the stigma for them? So you in Barbados are going to stigmatize someone because what? They're like you? You're all in the same boat. You stigmatizing someone who has a mental health hiccup, or maybe it's more than a hiccup, you are stigmatizing yourself. You're all in the same boat. You're all in the same boat. Staffing in place soon for new social agency. A new social agency, nothing's gonna work. You see this here? Stigma under scrutiny. This is the main thing you have to work on here, because people don't even know themselves. They don't even know that they're sick. Barbadians don't know they're sick. Barbadians don't even know that they were once slaves, that they came from slavery, that they have that in their bloodline. They don't know that. They don't think about it. They don't check for that. They don't check it. You know, they move around criticizing other people, criticizing the whole world, because they think that they're the best. They think that their God is a Bajan, and they don't realize that they're all 100% mentally ill. They don't realize it. And if you live in Barbados, if you stay there, if you don't go through the portals, the ocean is a portal. There are portals on the earth, and you have to wash yourself and leave. You have to do it intermittently and maybe go back. Some Bajans leave Barbados and they can't wait to get back on the island of Barbados. It pulls you back. The mental illness pulls you back to Barbados. Okay, it sucks you back to Barbados. Okay, you can't even stay away for too long. Okay, because when you're around people that are acting normal, it makes you uneasy. And acting normal means that you just can't come and run your mouth and expect that everything's going to go down fine. You know, no, you will be knocked out. Okay, knocked out. You need to understand where you are. You need to respect people's feelings, respect people's whatever. You just can't be running your mouth unless you just stay in Barbados and do it. Just stay in Barbados and do it. But you have a way. Barbadians have a way of insulting people who help them, biting the hands that feed them. They have a way that they would turn away from someone that is necessary and side with someone who has done nothing for them, can't do anything for them, won't do anything for them. They have some bad ways. They have mental issues. Every 100% of children born in Barbados, there should be some sort of mental health program in the schools for them. There should be mental health programs it should be a class, that something that you study, something you're studying yourselves. Why do they all behave? You, a Barbadian, can leave Barbados 50 years ago and come to America, go to Canada, go wherever, and go back to Barbados, and they'll see the children behaving the same way as when they left, the same way. It's almost like it's like deja vu. It's like, what happened? Did I go back in time? They're behaving the same way. The kids at the bus stops are cursing and carrying on, and the same mannerisms, the same way. There should be mental health counselors on every campus in Barbados, school campus, work environment, everywhere. There should be mental health counselors in Barbados, because you have to understand that you are a traumatized society. You are a slave society. That is something that is unheard of. Very few places. There was one in Nigeria, I think certain other areas, but very, very few places can say that there were slave societies. Yeah, they may have had slaves. Having slaves doesn't make you a slave society. Barbados was 100% a slave society, a slave island, a slave port. Okay? So you need mental health counseling. Okay, it's not like disposable money, like you would say, oh, I don't have money for that, or what. It should be part of the regime. It should be part of the curriculum in Barbados, the school curriculum. It should be part of your work environment. The work environment should have mental health counselors. It is a traumatized society. And Barbadians are traumatized people when you stay on the island. When you stay on the island, you are in a sauce. You are in a soup of trauma and mental health crisis. But you don't know it because you're born into it. You're born into it. You just don't know it. Just like how you may not think that someone who has been hungry and starving and scrunting for all their life, you would never ever think that if they were to have a child and it's stuck, let's say that, they had a season where they met someone and they were being fed and they had a child and the child was born. That child has a better future, longer living future than other children who came from families who were eating 3 meals a day. 3 meals a day, solid meals, and then little snacks in between. That child that came from someone who suffered starvation will last longer because starvation, you may call it starvation, but the body doesn't need as much food as you give it. You're killing yourself sometimes with your diet. You see the first 3 words in diet? Have you ever noticed the first 3 words, letters? The first 3 letters in the word diet? D-I-E. D-I-E. You're killing yourself. You're eating too much. 3 meals a day, you're eating your way into the grave, but you're going to get there anyhow. But know that starvation people produce progeny that live longer. They can live to be 100 years old because they have the starvation gene in their system. So there's certain things that you should know, and you should know how to look at things straight on, and don't romance it. There's no romance. Just look at it straight on. Okay, when you talk about rising youth mental health and drug issue and that kind of stuff, the drugs sometimes only accentuate what's already there. Drugs sometimes push to the surface what's already within the person. Sometimes it lays dormant and you can take a drug or whatever, and that dormant thing comes alive. But it's there. It has to be there for it to come alive. Okay, you just activated it. It's like having the plug and it's not in the socket. There's energy, but for you to get that energy to work, you have to take the plug and you have to push it into the socket so that the electricity goes through the veins of whatever, and then you have something that's activated. Drugs are just activation. It's just activating things that are already there. You guys are in mental health crisis. Barbadians are a traumatized society because although eating a whole lot of food is not good for you, and starvation people deliver long-living progeny, slavery is never a good situation. Okay, you cannot produce anything that is good from slavery. Cannot. It's an impossibility. It's an impossibility. You cannot produce anything good from slavery, because slavery was bad to start with. Eating too much food is bad to start with, okay? So just understand what I'm saying. Starvation is good. We call it fasting, you know, a nicer word for it. You know, euphemisms. So fasting is better for the human body. Slavery, not good for the human body. Anything that comes from slavery is traumatized. It's mentally ill. It's a mental illness. I saw another video yesterday of this guy and this girl, this woman and this man in the park there. We call Queen's Park. You still use her name, Queen's Park. And it was like they were out in public. They should do things that you should do, you know, within the confines of your bedroom. They were out in public place. And now the mass people, you know, the crop over people want 2 days of dry sitting on the road. They want to do it for 2 days. More children being born, more, you know, SUVs or what is it called? STIs. Yeah, more STIs. They want 2 days, 2 more days to walk around and be. 2 more days to walk around and behave badly in public. Walk around half naked, behaving badly. They want 2 days of it. 1 day is not enough. 1 day is not enough. So you guys, mental health stigma, staffing in place for new social agency, nothing is going to work. Nothing is going to work until you acknowledge that you are all in the same boat on stigma, on the scrutiny, mental health stigma. Now, until you guys realize you're all in the same boat, and someone leaving America after they have left for decades and going back to Barbados, the only thing that has changed is maybe their bigger structures, they're building here and there, but the people are behaving the same way. It's the same way, the same mentality. You guys are all mentally ill. All you need to have mental health treatment. All of Barbados. This is Sherry Veronica.
Help me spread the word about Naked Departure via social media. Subscribe and share to show support and love for our channels.